Good evening and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, and this is a live podcast. And here we are fighting CPS and also to stop them from taking our children. I want to give a warm welcome to you all, and hope you had a nice day. And this evening, I do want to help you. Um, I'm a father. I'm a husband of 32 years, and I have six children. Three are really grown up, and then I have three younger ones. And um, I've been in your case, and I know what you're going through, and you're going through one of the worst agencies ever. So I'll do my best to share what worked for me and how to help you get through your case. And so there's several ways you can react with this podcast. You found me on Facebook, and I'm broadcasting on YouTube using the StreamYard application. Now, one way that you can interact with me is you can call in my number at 626-698-0990. That's my office phone, and I do answer it Monday through Sunday. I'm on twice a day from 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time for an hour, except on Sunday I come on at 8. And then in the evening I'm on at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock for an hour Pacific Standard Time. And during that time, I will answer my phone at 626-698-0990. If you call at other times, I can't answer the phone. So my hands are tied on you. So please call me, during the show time hours. And when you see me on the show, you can see the number. It's right there. Just call 626-698-0990. Now, another way you can join me in this podcast is that you can text me a message. Now, let me get the texting notes here so I can put those up. See if I can find them here. I thought they were there, but here it is. When you're typing in a comment, make sure it's about CPS questions. I only want to talk about the child protection system. And so anything related to that, we can talk about. Please show your name, city, state, or country and be complete with your CPS case. I don't want any ping pong ball where, you tell me a little something and then ask another question and it's my time and then your time back and forth. Be very complete with your case. If it involves multiple children, state that. If it involves multiple spouses, state that. Or different fathers, different children, whatever the case would be. And also if you're a grandmother or not, if you're the daughter or the son or whatever. But identify who you are, what happened in your case. So what happened? Your kids get taken. Were you accused of neglect or abuse? What are the details that you could share with us, and we'll try to help you out there. So, you talk about your case, where you're at, and then you tell where you're at the moment. And that pretty much brings us up to date, and then we can go ahead and tackle anything that will help you, because I'd love to have you um, um, talk about your case and see if I can help you. Now, I did mention countries, and yes, we have over 10 countries that have contacted me. I've talked to Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, Ghana in South America, a little country above Brazil, east of Venezuela at the coast. Not too many people know about Ghana. And then I've had calls from Mexico, text messages, and actually I had a call from Mexico. And then I have Mozambique, which is an African nation on the east side, down by South Africa, across from Madagascar and down from Somalia. And then I've had Rwanda, which is close by. That's by Near Lake, sort of in Central East Africa. And they've also called in. I had Liberia on the West Coast, and they called in and talked too. They really were very inquisitive to see how things are going and stuff, and everything like that. So I encourage everybody to text. I'm open to other countries. We've had Denmark and Sweden that have called in from Europe, and I think I got all the countries so far that have called in. That's a lot of countries. But anyway, I have talked to a social worker on here that called in and talked to us for 40 minutes. And she was from Maryland, Carol, and she was also trained as a had a psychology degree, clinical psychology degree, and actually she had additional 6 months training in Maryland. She said, and the things that I talked about, she said didn't exist. So I guess the people that called in from Maryland were not telling the truth. I don't know. All I know is that social workers are bad, and um, let me let me say hello to someone in the room. Labardo came in. Thank you. Rosemary has been here before. I'm starting overnights with my daughter this Friday. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Rosemary. And I have uh, and I have joint custody of my sons. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yay, Faye, you must have got the notification. Hello and welcome. Faye's from Richmond, Kentucky. Rosemary, I forgot what state you're from, city and state. If you could tell me again, that would be great. Another way to interact with this podcast is you can be a guest on my show. I've had a guest last night, and it was a wonderful guest that talked for a good hour. Um, and so, if you want to be a guest on the show, all you have to do is pick one of my days. I have 14 podcasts, Monday through Sunday, and you um, pick the time, morning or evening, like Sunday morning or Saturday evening or Friday evening or Wednesday morning. You just pick it. And what you do is you email it to my show producer. Her name is Grace, and she can be reached at grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's grace at vincentwdavis.com. And she'll gladly help you get on the show. She'll give you the link for the StreamYard application and tell you what to do and don't do on the show and help you with your lighting and get it all set up. So it's really good if you wanted to talk on the show. I'd love to have you. So those are several ways you can interact with our podcast. One, you can call in at my work number, and I'll go ahead and put that back up. Or two, you can text in comments, which is good. And then three, you can be a guest on the show and email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. So we've had some people come in the room, and I welcome them. And that's great, Faye. Faye, congratulate Rosemary. She has joint custody of her son. She has her visit with her daughter Friday. Things will be good. Yeah, the notification came uh, as soon as into the podcast. Great. Well, the notifications are working. So that is good. So you probably see me with a jacket. You're probably saying, well, God, where's it cold? Well, I was in an air conditioning FedEx store all day. They were trying to get rid of me, I guess, by raising the air conditioning up. So I did my podcast. So now I'm closer to the beach. I was about 5 miles from the beach. Now I'm closer to the beach. I'm about only 2 miles away. But I'm at a Starbucks in the shopping center, and the sun's going down, and it is cold. I'm not inside Starbucks, but it's cold outside. The weather's dropped down in the mid 60s. I know that may not be cold, but I know some of you really are hurting with weather being as it is. I had someone from Oklahoma the other day, and it was hot. Faye says you can cook eggs on the sidewalk, so that should save some gas bills. Faye further says what is this? Get here, yeah. I wish I could send my cool weather to you guys. It's terrible. It's only because we have the Pacific Ocean, and it's like an ice tray, and when the winds blow on shore from the ocean, it blows right across this 60-degree or 58-degree ocean water, and that cool air just comes rushing in. That's why we have fog in the morning. Anyway, I know that losing your child or being involved in CPS may seem hopeless. I did to myself. I still am hurting by it. I still can't believe a group that's so corrupt gets away with what they're getting away with. Um, if you want to picture a social worker, all you have to do is look at the pink ladies from Prescott, Arizona. There are 8 social workers that thought they'd be really cute and bought these pink T-shirts, and on the front had them stenciled in white lettering that says "Professional Kidnappers." Now, what is professional kidnappers? That means social services, the branch. CPS is a professional kidnappers. And on the back, they said, "Do you know where your children?" And they're out there looking, and they went ahead and paraded with these pink T-shirts in Walmart and other stores. People were horrified. And of course, word got out and they were fired, as well as the director. So the whole Prescott social service system, which they call theirs DCF, Department of Children's Services, was wiped out. There's only one guy remaining. They even fired the director. It was wrong what they did. There's no question about that. Um, they tried to squash it really quick in Arizona because people tried to interview them and talk to them, but I guess they were told to not say anything. Maybe because they would be prosecuted. Maybe that's what was going to happen. They're going to be prosecuted, and because they should have been prosecuted what they did. And if that social worker or 8 social workers doesn't convince you that CPS is corrupt, how about this one? A lady who's a social worker in the Chicago, Illinois area posted on her Facebook, very proudly, an ad from 1848. It said black children for sale. Now, why in the year 2024 did you want to run an ad about black children for sale? That's terrible. It was terrible back then, and now that was right before the Civil War was out, and she thought it was really cute on her Facebook page to put their black children for sale, and she's black. She's black, so those are the kinds of social workers you're gonna end up against them. 94 here. Wow, Faye. Definitely have to send some cold air. I've stopped telling my social workers things months ago. Well, yeah, I think Rosemary, you're outspoken. That was fine. They deserve it. Rosemary further says every time I used to shed um, use, it was held against me. I had to catch on. I had to catch on. Hey, Happy Feet, I'm so glad to hear from you. And you had a good story to say the other day. And she's from Gilbert, Arizona. And her case has come along good. I think she had her kids returned. And Faye says that the FBI trafficking recovered 200 plus kids that are missing, with majority of them being foster kids or involved with DCF, rescued from a sex trafficking rings. Oh my God, those kids. That's sad. CPS traffics your children into foster care. They don't like foster care, so they run away and they get caught up with a sex trade. And that's the worst thing to be involved in. So we need to, it's sad because CPS is supposed to make you safe by being in their hands. They do just the opposite. My children were abused in foster care. It was sad. It was sad. In fact, one of my child has been completely stolen from us, never returned, and brainwashed to think that she could divorce the parents, her brothers, her cousins, her aunts and uncles, and other people, and then to seal her birth certificate like she wasn't even born by us. And then on top of that, change her name and then be adopted by a foster care. All this at 21. And it's only because the social worker was retaliating against us parents. She got caught on the stand lying, said there was no domestic violence, and My wife's sister was trying to adopt our daughter, and we tried to stop it because that was wrong. We appealed and we won that part, but the social worker got revenge because she instructed our daughter to do the most horrible thing is divorce. Divorcing a parent is really hard to take. It's kind of like, how can a 12-year-old? She didn't face this. She did this all behind closed doors. So I guess it was easy for her to do so. I don't think it's not easy right now. I still miss my daughter with so much love for her. She's going to be 22 this July 9th. And so I've missed her from age 12, which is 8 years. And now 2 more years, that's 9 and 10. So for 10 years, I've had nothing with our daughter. Our boys still visit her. I encourage the boys to see her, even though she's divorced them. So she still sees her brothers. So that's good. I don't know if the sun is making my face. I've got to turn the right way, or it's going down, and well, it's still pretty high in the sky. I guess it's getting late here. Let me see if I can rotate the table and turn myself a little bit. Is that better? I don't know. Is that a little bit better? Need some input from you guys. But yeah, that's a hard thing to swallow. My case was terrible. I mean, for 5 years they're trying to catch me doing something illegally, and they weren't able to. And see, that was soon after I lost my job. You see, they take people when they're down and out or things are really bad, and that was hard. That was so hard. Um, yeah, I think about her all the time. I mean, I lost so much. I lost my home that I worked 40 years to buy. That's gone. I lost my credit ratings. My credit is all bad. And my family came first. So I sold my home and gave the money to have to hire an attorney. My rule number one talks about hiring an attorney. And I waited a little bit. Maybe if I hired an attorney, I would have lost my daughter. But CPS is a troublesome entity. They lie. They're very deceptive. They cheat. They take revenge. They're not there to help you or your family. They're just going to lie to you. And it's sad because you guys are good parents. You wouldn't be in this room if you weren't good parents because you care enough to be in here. And Faye and Happy Feet and Rosemarie keep coming back to this room. So I really appreciate your support. And I care about you. I care about you so much. I hate for you to have to go through. Some news here, Bob. Lost my she lost her career. My home bankrupt. Oh no. And my health declined miserably. You bankrupt yourself, you lost your career, your home. Oh, Faye. Oh, I feel so sorry. That's so bad. Happy Feet says that the DCS, Department of Children's Services, has turned our entire family almost against each other to the point the kidnapper placement where our kids are located now turns us against each other. Oh, sheesh. I'm sorry to hear about that, Happy Feet. Yeah, you lost your baby daughter, Faye. Faye's lost so much. She's fighting all kinds of issues. Now she's bankrupt. She's going to lose everything. I'm so sorry, Faye. And her daughter, she loves her daughter so much, but she lost her daughter. She didn't die, but her daughter was taken from her. And that was hard. That was hard. Now, in my show, I mean, I have a lot of topics I can talk about. I have about 84 tabs open, all about different things. that we could talk about. I also have my 4 rules that I talk about that will really help you. Um, yep, the divide and conquer. I agree with you, Faye. And she is so hard to raise her son. She's fit to raise my son, but not my daughter. You know, that's a weird thing, you know. Here's Faye, who cares about her son. It's a special needs son, and she is not able to care for her daughter. God, that's so bad. Rosemary says her next court date is August 14th. Rosemary, what is that court date all about? What's that going to be? What's that going to entail? Yeah, Faye, I realize you're able to care for her, but they won't let you, will they? Yeah, I know, Faye. I feel really bad. Um, Rosemary says there is a spouse to a trial discharge. To be. I don't know what you mean by that. There's a spouse to a trial discharge to be. Okay. Is that something related to the court date of August 14th, Rosemary? And again, I forgot where you're at, Rosemary. I forgot where you're at. It would be helpful there, Rosemary. And Happy Feet, if you could tell me. Um, a spouse. Okay, Rosemary. All right. My heart is really saddened by hearing your stories because I too am hurting. Every time I talk about my case or talk about my children, it brings me back to the time where my children were not in danger. They're in school and they took them out of school and put them in danger. They trafficked them into a foster care system where the first night they were set up in a shelter. And the shelter is next door to the prisons of the juvenile prisoners. In their play area, they could, stick their hands to the chain link fence. Also, there was beehives and bees were attacking the children. And my children were put in an overcrowded shelter. Um, Food was terrible. The place was dirty. And their idea of schooling was to listen to a teacher read a book. I mean, my kids were in STEM classes. They were taking a science class, a technology class, engineering class, and a math class. And, reading a book is certainly not helpful for them. Their schooling was messed up. My Cub Scouts was messed up. My Boy Scouts was messed up because my son, you know, it was hard for both my boys. I don't know. I feel so bad. I hurt. And I still hurt. I've been talking this for 15 days, and what I don't seem to understand is how these social workers get away with abusing these parents. Abusing these parents. Hi, Archie. We were just talking about you earlier. He's from Liberia. He's a scout leader, and I'm glad you stopped in. You know, Archie is a scout leader. They don't call Boy Scouts, or they call it Scouts because both girls and boys are in the scouting program. Girl Scouts still has a program for girls, but the boys are not there. But somehow the Scout program allows boys and girls. And so Archie is a Scout leader, and he really tries to watch his kids and take care of them. I'm so glad that you came back. That's Archie from Liberia on the west side of Africa at the coast. And that's one of my countries there, as I told you. Countries do text and messages. What can we do for you, Archie? I understand you're able to talk to my show producer, Grace, and you guys are trying to be on my show and talk. Yes, your Happy Feet, your husband is a Scout leader too. Scout is a good program. I mean, I was a leader too, and CPS ruined it for my sons. My son was stopped pursuing his dream of being an Eagle. My young son in Cub Scouts never made it to Weeblos. It was terrible. It was terrible what they did to my kids. It really is. Oh wow, it was a soccer coach, a teacher. Wow, your husband is really great, and you're at the PTO president at the kids school and cheer mom. That's great. Well, I think it's the PTA or is the PTO? What is the PTO? The PTA is the Principal Teachers Association. The PTO is, well, I don't know. Maybe you could help me out, Happy Feet. And gee, your husband sounds great. Is he still with you, with your kids? Um, you can contact Grace. She'll give you my email. She'll give you my email. PTO in Australia is also known as PTA. Okay. Parent Teachers Association. Okay. So the PTO is the same. Okay. And you're from Arizona. That's great. And you've been married 20 years. Wow. That's a long time. My parents were married 55 years. And I've been with the same woman for 32 years. We've had gone through this thing too late in life. I mean, I was 60 years old when I lost my job in 2010, and it got worse with CPS. By the time I was 2015, three of my six children were stolen, and I was 65. And now I'm a dinosaur. I'm 74 years old, and I'm not here looking for work. I need to take care of my family. I still have a three young family. One just finished high school, graduated with honors. Oh my God, he's going to college. I'm so proud of him. But he's found a college on his own, and he's got a lot of good things going for him, and so I'm happy. So, well, I'm glad all this news here. I don't like the news about Faye though. That's hard for me to swallow. There's a woman that, if you don't know Faye, she was in foster care four times or five times growing up, and she was abused and molested and raped and everything else. And then she decided to have children, and then CPS says, "Oh, you were once in foster care. We're going to grab your child, take your daughter, take your son." That was wrong. That was real wrong. Thank you. Lots of prayers to Faye. I get that. You know, when you talk to Faye, she's an inspirational person. She has so much going for her. You know, she's from Richmond, Kentucky, and there's almost $900,000 unaccounted for. You know, that's the sad part. This whole socials, the CPS, this Child Protection Services, is all about our say system money. It's an $80 billion business, and if you really don't think about it, my three children were getting paid by the state, which got the money from the federal government, $60,000 a month. That means if there was 100 families in this Orange County area, which there is, that if they all had three children, it'd be $6 million a month that they're getting for these children. It doesn't take that much money to take care of kids. So it's a money thing, is why CPS does what they're doing. Now, I do want to talk about rule number one, which is get an attorney. And you have to. You see, CPS is very corrupt. Um, you're like Alice in Wonderland that's fallen in a rabbit hole and gone to all these rooms which go nowhere. They say offer you a head and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're stupid. So you definitely got to fight them. That's wrong if you don't. Um, and the best way to fight them is with the attorney. Now, I'm not meaning a court appointed attorney. I mean a real attorney, somebody that knows all about family dependency law, someone that's been an attorney for 35 years, fighting CPS, getting the children back, somebody that's a trial attorney, someone that has sued with civil suits against CPS and won both the state and federal. And the person I'm talking about is Mr. Davis. He's the one that produces this podcast. Many thanks to you, Mr. Davis. And he has his own podcast. He helps a lot of people. But he will talk to you. He'll do a consultation for 30 minutes for $60, and he'll tell you what you need to do or where you need to go or how to fight your case. And if you like him, you can hire him. He'll do all the 50 states, and he does Northern California too. So, with that being said, uh, please call in at 888-888-4582 and ask to speak to Mr. Davis at a consultation. It's $60 for 30 minutes, roughly $2 a minute, and be well worth the money you spend because he will help you. He will strategize with you because you're going to find CPS awful. I've already told you that the workers lie and they think of children. They think they're kidnappers. I mean, the mentality is really terrible. It really is. But rule one is I'm telling you, get yourself an attorney. You can't go wrong with Mr. Davis. Now, rule number two is the paperwork. A lot of people don't like to do paperwork. I don't either. You can't write things on letters and post-it notes and scraps of paper and stuff. You have to be organized so you can find everything. And a good way to do that is get yourself a three-ring binder that's 6 inches thick and load it with your notebook paper and then get some subject tabs and divide your areas. You get one for incidents, another one for your parenting classes, another one for your programs, another one for your court papers. What you do is you're organizing all your paperwork in this notebook. You punch holes and you give synopses or summaries at each of your divided things there. For instance, with the incidents, you write down the first incident, the date and time, and then you show where it's located and the people involved. And then you open up a second line, and then put down there that that's going to be the outcome. You need to know the outcome. You just did something, so you need to know the outcome. If the outcome isn't recognized or known yet, you can wait. You can wait the time. You can wait the time. But get that notebook organized. And also, don't forget the outcome. If the outcome is ready, you can come back later and fill it out. But those incidents should be anything related to CPS, the police, and it'll help you. Because 6 months from now, you won't remember anything. A year from now, of course not. So you need that to help you with your attorneys and everything else. So if you contact Archie, Grace will give you my email. So far in the room, we have Archie from Liberia, from Africa, and we have Happy Feet from Arizona, and then we have Rosemary Lombardo. I think you're from New York, if I'm not mistaken, and then Faye from Richmond, Kentucky. I'm glad to have you in my shows here, and as I say, is that there's a lot about your case that I can help you, and I'm trying to cover different things in my rules there. So be organized with your paperwork, hire an attorney. I say to people that CPS is like doing open heart surgery. It's so difficult. They are so difficult. They lie and stuff. So you need a real professional. And those public attorneys that give you in dependency courts are a waste of time. They don't even care. They don't even have the knowledge or experience. And they only talk to you at the time of the hearing, so they won't have time for you. So really, I'm sad to say they're a waste of time. People use them though, but they're really not going to do very much for you. Um, so moving on to rule number 3 is you want to say no to social workers and the police. You don't need to talk to them. Anything you do say will be used against you. So you want to say no to policemen and social workers. You don't let them in your home. Um, if you're outside and you encounter them, just tell them you want to speak to your attorney. You have that right. You can stop and say, look, I can't go much further with you. I got to speak to my attorney. And that's a good timeout. And if they ask you, can we come in your home? You say no. Can we take your children? You say no. And your place is like your castle. They have to have a court order before they take your children. And the police are just intimidators they bring along to make your life miserable. Now, as they say in this rule number 3, is no. So if they ask for your children, just say no. In fact, the best way is not answer your door. There's a young fella, an airman in the Air Force, a black man, that was 23, and he answered the door and he shot 5 times and killed. What a waste. He was a guy that had a military career and had so much to offer his country and his people. But this sheriff from Gainesville, Florida, decided that he was better dead than to talk to. And so he died talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime, which is sad because those are his girlfriend will have, and it's really sad. I think about that all the time, and I tell you guys, do not answer the door. Um, as I think back, you have to stay. I got a panel if you need more. Okay. Um, as I think back to my case, it was horrible how they tricked me. 5 years I wasted my time answering the stupid remarks that they were accused me of. I didn't pay my utility bills. I did not feed my children. I did not clothe my children. I did not take them to school. I just put this was all done by laymen, lay people. It was a family, my in-laws, my wife's family, and it was sad because they were lying. And I was able to hold them all for 5 years, but then they used a trickster. They CPS got a detective involved, and he followed me in his unmarked car, and he followed me for quite some time. Then he had a black and white pull me over, And the black and white first started off with a traffic violation that I knew was a joke. And the detective comes up and says, "You're following me home." Very threatening. And I said, "What for?" He wouldn't tell me, which is against the law. I did not know all that at the time. I should have told him, "Give me a traffic ticket, arrest me, or I need to call my attorney." And that's one thing you guys can always do. If it gets heavy, stop what you're doing and tell them very nicely, "I can't go much further. I need to talk to my attorney. They need to be represented." You're entitled to that. Police will have to back away, and so do social workers have to back away. You have to know your rights. You have to really know your rights. And, you know, rule number 3 is a bad one. And so many people lose their children. Also, there's medical trafficking that happens. Your child is very sick or high fever at night, you rush them to the hospital, and unbeknownst to you, there's a social worker working there. The child protection center, they're going to sit there and try the con and take the child because you may not agree with what the doctor said. You may want a second opinion. You may want to see your pediatrician the next day or the next morning. And anyway, they're going to try to take your children. Also, if you're having a child and you're pregnant and you have to give birth, they'll try to take your children just when your child comes out. Because why? You may have tested positive for drugs. The whole thing is wrong. The whole thing is wrong. And they abuse, and they do that all the time. They have no guilty conscience, these social workers. So, rule number 4 is you need to research very thoroughly the area where your CP case is. If you're in Richmond, Kentucky, you want to say, what is CPS in Richmond, Kentucky like? You know, what are the black marks? What are the bad people? What to watch out for? How do you get your children back in Richmond, Kentucky? You know, you need to research. That's my rule 4 is you guys spend a lot of time understanding and knowing things. You got to, very much so. Um, Let me see here. We're getting close to the witching hour. We have about 15 minutes left. And I've covered my rules. Um, for some of you that I've been talking about ICWA lately because we've had some people that are part of ICWA. ICWA is the Indian Child Welfare Act. And in 1978, they passed an act that said CPS must ask you if you are a Native American Indian or your children are, and what is the name of your tribe, and if you're registered or could be registered. Well, they have to do that now because for 150 years, they were taking children and never giving them back to Indian families. No reunification. In 1875, as you know, the American Indians were being defeated and put on reservations, and their customs were trying to be washed out, their hair cut, the language they have to speak the English language, and children were sent off to schools. Well, anytime a CPS investigated an Indian family, they automatically had the kids adopted into foster care. There's no talk about family unification. So the ICWA was a chance that the Indian family would have to get their kids back. It told CPS they need to turn them over to the tribe and the tribe on the reservation. So they would put them with an Indian family. That Indian family would help them get reunified, get back together as a family. So that was a really good law they passed. I hear there's certain people today are trying to fight it. And it's really sad how these American Indians have really been abused and their children given away and died in CPS's custody. I mean, it is hard. It is a hard thing. Wow, the wind is blowing and the ocean is cold. Jeez. I cannot believe. I mean, I'm frozen all day like a meat market inside FedEx. I think my blood is becoming a reptile. Not only am I a dinosaur, I'm becoming a reptile. Um, So ICWA is a really important thing to know about. There are 547 tribes that are recognized by the federal government. So if you're a Cherokee, a Lakota Sioux, a Crow, a Mohawk or a Navajo or Apache, Comanche, any of the 547 tribes, you should try to get registered if you're not, and be registered. And you should also be active. Don't count on CPS doing anything. They'll drop the ball. You need to contact the tribe and say, hey, tribe, I'm a Cherokee and I need some help. I want you to check to see if my children are registered or how can I get them registered. And then you can place them with a family member of the tribe, and they in turn will help you with family reunification. They'll help you get your children back. They'll help get your children back. So I'm really moved uh, that so many of you have been fighting for so long. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Um, DCS, Department of Children's Service, is still not following ICWA guidelines. The Indian child. I agree, but you're going to have to force it on them. You're going to have to contact the tribe yourself, and you need to get your kids registered. Now, another motion that's really important that you should keep abreast on in California, it's called the 388 motion. It's a petition motion. It's where you're going to petition the court to enter in information about your classes have been completed or some new information. It forces the judge to recognize you to have within 30 days a court appearance to talk about something new, like you completed your programs, you completed your parenting classes. Anyway, you need to look at it. Other states may just say a petition um, for a hearing. But in California, it's called the 388. I think in Oklahoma City, it's called the 388. I had someone from Oklahoma talk about it. So that's an important motion you should know about. And again, with your attorney, follow your attorney's advice, but keep them honest. Don't let them run away with your attention. I'm so bad to hear a lot of you guys have hired $20,000 for an attorney and then they didn't perform and they give you nothing back. That's wrong. That's wrong. You guys are going through so much already, and have to go through a corrupt attorney is hard on you. You're going through a very corrupt agency that lies and cheats and hurts. I mean, that is so terrible. Now, I also like to tell you about opening your door. There's a scenario that happened in May, on May 3rd. A black airman, I think I talked about this earlier on the show. He was shot 5 times in the chest while his girlfriend watched on FaceTime. But that all could have been avoided. It was domestic violence that the sheriff was going to investigate, and he had the wrong apartment. He had to. This boy was alone in his apartment, and he did a bad thing, and so the sheriff did. I mean, the sheriff could have been shot at the front door. You don't approach your door. You first investigate the surrounding area. You listen. You look for windows or see if there's anything going on in there. You don't tell someone. You don't knock on the door several times, say nothing, then knock again and say nothing, because that just aggravates people. You need to identify who you are, and you should not stand in front of a door. You should be off to the side, because you'll be shot. If someone is in a serious problem, that can be shot. Now, the gentleman that answered the door did have a gun, but was pointed down. And he only got the gun because the first couple of times the sheriff didn't say anything. And he was worried about his safety. He was alone in the place. But the sheriff could have said, could identify himself, correctly and say, I've heard there's domestic violence going on. How many people are in the apartment? If the guy says just me, then he could have said, well, could you unlock the door, lay face down, put your hands behind your head, and if you have a weapon, put it off to your side. And then what the sheriff could do is open the door slowly, peer inside, assess the situation, kick the gun further away, and then handcuff the individual, and then check the rest of the apartment for other people. But he didn't do any of that stuff. He just shot and killed the guy, point blank. And the guy, should never have answered the door. He should have hid in the back part of the house. But that's going to be swept beneath the carpet. The family has hired the same guy. They got Rodney King in trouble and a lot of other black people being shot innocently. So I keep checking to see what may have happened there. And don't get me wrong about the importance of CPS. Yeah, Happy Feet says her attorney doesn't even show up to court. Which kind of attorney is that, Happy Feet? Is that an attorney you're paying for, or is that an attorney that's court appointed? I'm so sorry, Happy Feet. Faye, do you have anything you wanted to say? Because I'm getting ready to close the show down. Um, I'm glad we've had you people in here and some of you telling good stories. But I'll be on again tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. It's the 4th of July weekend, and I'm going to be on there tomorrow at 10 and I guess tomorrow night at 7. I guess tomorrow night at 7. My family will walk to the beach. I think the fireworks are 9 o'clock, and I'm going to try to have a meal for them. I've been saving my money to work on my car, which has really been bad news there. So, I want you all not to give up. I want you to think about the 4 rules I covered. Rules about hiring an attorney. The court-appointed attorney is a waste of time. They won't show up. They won't do anything for your case. But rule 1 is to find yourself an attorney. Get an attorney. That's how I was able to get my sons back. I hired him. I sold my home. So I lost my home I worked 40 years for. I let go of all my savings. I ended up, homeless for a little bit too. I even experienced homeless. But there's got to be solutions. And if any of you, you can call in tomorrow, or if you want to be a guest on my show, please contact Grace. And she will help you get on my show. She'll help you get on my show. There is hope. And I do pray to God. And I try to help you. And I will say there is hope down the road. Some of us think there never will be. And that's a hard feeling. So, with that being said, I want you all to have a safe, happy 4th of July. Think about it. We're going to be 249 years of independence. We have declared our independence from Great Britain, England, and it's a time for us to celebrate our 249 years, and next year it'll be 250 years. That would be a big celebration. We do in my town have the largest parade west of the Mississippi. Our parade will start at 9 o'clock in the morning and go from the ocean up to Main Street and out. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for being alive, to be able to talk to you on this podcast, to help you. I really care about you. And I really want to see you guys get your dreams and stuff. Okay, we got the OG Blame Eric on. Hey, update. I beat my case, and now I have a civil suit against the Northern County, Pennsylvania CPS. Congratulations, OG or Erica. That's good news. All of that you hear that. I'm just getting ready to sign off, Erica. So you need to come tomorrow and be on the show. It'd be nice if you call in and share it, or you could be a guest. And all you have to do is type an email to Grace at vincentwdavis.com, and that would really help there. But I want to send all my cold weather to you guys. I just cannot believe how cold it's getting. I'm glad I got a jacket tonight. But it says the temperature is 70, but I don't know where 70 is because it feels like 60. Yeah, congratulations, Erica. Well, thank you, Happy Feet. Thank you, Erica. Uh, thank you, Archie from Liberia in Africa. And thank you, Rosemary Labardo and Faye from Richmond, Kentucky. Thank you all for joining my room. Again, a happy 4th of July. Be safe. And you guys take care. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. This is Bob Pace signing off.